Every year, around this time, we put up trees, decorate our houses, buy presents and prepare to celebrate. It's Christmas time, and we really do have something to celebrate. On that very first Christmas, over 2,000 years ago, the most amazing and most magnificent thing happened. God himself came to earth. Today, we're hearing the story of how that happened. So listen up, pay attention, don't miss 1 minute of it. Don't close your eyes. Reaching down from the sky, earth embrace in mercy, love from heaven a child, born one winter's night, angels praise from on high, nations gather round him, rich and poor at his feet, kneeling by his grave. Don't close your eyes, creation's all fulfilled this day, heaven and earth alive, God is by our side. Don't close your eyes. Oh, every moment on what made prophets and kings of old this day foretold. Oh, humble, watch and wonder. Oh, humble, watch and wonder tonight. Princes, lay down your crowns, let your towers tumble, join your hands with the poor. Christ the Lord is here, God has shown us his way, top with thrones and kingdoms, lifting lowly up high, joyfully they sing. Don't close your eyes, creation's all fulfilled this day, heaven and earth alive, God is by our side. Don't close your eyes. Oh, every moment come what may, prophets and kings of old this day foretold. Oh, humble, watch and wonder. Oh, humble, watch and wonder tonight. The story starts with God's people waiting for something wonderful, waiting for something magnificent. They were waiting for a king. Hundreds of years ago, God promised to send his people a king like their ancestor David, but better, stronger, more powerful. This king would be called the Prince of Peace, the mighty God, the everlasting Father. He would reign over them forever. He would save them from all their enemies. He would even save them from sin and from death. But hundreds of years later, God's people were still waiting. They knew that God could be trusted to keep his promises. But when?
So many years
While God's people were waiting for the king, they got on with the everyday tasks of everyday life. In the town of Nazareth, there lived a young girl called Mary. Mary was waiting for God's king to come, and she was also waiting to be married. She was engaged to a man named Joseph, but they hadn't come together yet. One ordinary day, while Mary was doing ordinary things, something very unordinary happened. The angel Gabriel appeared before her with remarkable news.
Hail, favored one, blessed one, the Lord is with you.
Oh, who is this? What does he mean? Is he an angel?
Mary, don't be afraid. You found favor with God the Almighty. You will conceive a child who is King, the Son of the Most High God.
Me? A baby? Can this be real? I'm only a girl. Can this thing happen?
Mary, don't be afraid. You dwell in the shadow of God.
I'm not afraid. I dwell in the shadow of God the Almighty. I will bring forth the Son, just as you said, for I am a servant of God.
This holy child will sit on the throne. It's the year of God's favor. This holy child is King over kings, forever our Savior. This holy child will sit on the throne. It's the year of God's favor. This holy child is King over kings, forever our Savior.
King over kings, our Savior, this baby, is the waiting over? Is God sending his king and my baby? I'm not afraid. I dwell in the shadow of God the Almighty. May it be as you say, for I am a servant of God.
After that, Mary had the difficult job of telling Joseph, her betrothed, what had happened. Joseph was a good man, but he didn't understand. How could Mary, his Mary, have a baby? It wasn't his child. Maybe he should leave her quietly.
Can this be real? Mary, my love, can this thing happen? Joseph, don't be afraid. The child she conceives is from God.
I'm not afraid. I dwell in the shadow of God the Almighty.
Mary will have a son. With her I'll stay, for I am the servant of God. This holy child will sit on the throne. It's the year of God's favor. This holy say, for we are the servants of God.
So Mary and Joseph stayed together as the angel said they should, and Joseph cared for Mary during her pregnancy. When it was nearly time for Mary's baby to be born, the Emperor Caesar Augustus issued a decree that everyone must return to their hometown for a census. Joseph's family was from Bethlehem, so he and Mary packed up their things and made the tiring journey. A long trip was the last thing that Mary felt like, but it was all part of God's plan. Bethlehem was the birthplace of all the great kings of God's people, and the prophets had written that the greatest king of all would also be born there.
Mountains bow before him, angels sing. A few more days, a few more years, a few more steps and we'll be there. Are we there yet? So many promises, oh when will they come true? So many promises, oh when will they come true?
When Mary and Joseph arrived in Bethlehem, they found that many others had also made the trip. The small town was crowded and the inn was already full. Mary and Joseph had to stay in a stable, and while they were there, the time came for Mary to have her baby. God's Son, the baby Jesus, the king that everyone had been waiting for, was born not in a royal palace with majesty and honour, but in a stable. Mary wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in an animal's manger. But she always remembered the angel's words, and Mary knew that this baby, her baby, was the Son of God, the King. How amazing that she should be his mother.
This child is sleeping peacefully in his cradle. I'm told he holds the whole world in his hands. A baby, yet much older than the mountains.
On the night Jesus was born, there were some shepherds out in the field watching their sheep. These shepherds were bold, they were tough, and they weren't afraid of anything.
So brave and oh so bold, where
and the glory of the Lord shone around them. And the shepherds were filled with fear, but the angel spoke to them, saying,
"Don't be afraid. I come with good news for all of the people. Today there is born a King, the Son of our God, our Saviour, He's Christ the Lord."
And the whole sky was filled with angels.
This only child will sit on the throne. It's the year of God's favor. This only child is King of the kings, forever our Savior. This only child will sit on the throne. It's the year of God's favor. This only child is King of the kings, forever our Savior. Don't be afraid. I come with good news for all of the people. Go now to Bethlehem to see this new King, our Savior, He's Christ the Lord.
The shepherds did not want to miss out on this. They went straight to Bethlehem and found Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus. They knelt down and honoured him, amazed that they should be the first to meet the promised King. When they went away, they told everyone what the angel had said. The waiting was over. God's King is here. Don't close your eyes. Don't miss this. The King has come to earth.
Reaching down from the sky, earth embraced in mercy, love from heaven a child, born one winter's night. Angels praise from on high, nations gather round him, rich and poor at his feet, kneeling by his feet. Don't close your eyes. Creation's song fulfilled this day. Heaven and earth collide. God is by our side. Don't close your eyes. Hold every moment, come what may. Prophets and kings of old, this day foretold. Oh, humble, watch and wonder. Oh, humble, watch and wonder tonight. Princes, lay down your crowns. Let your towers tumble. Join your hands in the poor. Christ the Lord is here. God has shown us His way. Toppling thrones and kingdoms, lifting lowly up high. Joyfully they sing. Don't close your eyes. prophets and kings of old, this day foretold. Oh, humble, watch and wonder. Oh, humble, watch and wonder tonight.
Wasn't that amazing? Let's give another round of applause. Thank you so much. This year at Cairns Prayers, our theme for Christmas is an invitation to wonder. And I really love that musical because it made me wonder afresh at the Christmas story and who God is. And the first thing that got me was that I'm amazed that God would become a human. Isn't that amazing? I don't quite remember the line, but it's something like, kind of artist give himself to the canvas, kind of potter, put himself on the wheel. The idea that God, the Creator, would choose to become creation to save us. That gave me great wonder. That he would come as a baby, that was the second thing that made me wonder and just stand in awe. God just didn't make himself a mighty, powerful person, but he comes initially as a small embryo, a cluster of cells in the womb of Mary, utterly vulnerable. The infinite God, so finite, so contained. And lastly, I'm just in wonder that God is so different to us. We would choose to, use a mighty nation and have a baby born and then placed in a golden cot with, armies, generals of armies surround him, and yet here is God who chooses to put his son in a food trough, born of a young lady who's not even married, to a nation that's small and oppressed, because he shows to the world that salvation, it comes through humility and trusting rather than power and strength.